Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving right into the escalating conflict between the US and Iran. And what started as a regional crisis, well, it's now threatening to pull the entire world into a totally new and frankly terrifying kind of war. So let's just get right to it with the one question that's probably on everybody's mind. I mean, it's a terrifying question to even ask, right? But the analysis we're digging into today suggests we absolutely have to take it seriously. The way events have unfolded, so fast and so explosive, it has analysts pretty spooked. Okay, take a look at this, because this comparison is pretty frightening. During World War I, it took years for 30 countries to get dragged in. But in this conflict, we hit 20 countries in just the first 2 weeks. That speed, that unbelievable pace of escalation, that's what has everyone on edge. And this isn't just some localized problem anymore stuck in the Middle East. No way. The battleground has already spread across 3 continents. You've got Russia feeding intel to Iran, China pushing propaganda, the US and its allies building up their navies. This thing is already global. And this quote, man, this really hits at the heart of the problem. When the head of the UN, of all people, comes out and says this is a chain of events that nobody can control, that's when you know we've walked into some seriously dangerous territory. So how in the world did a regional conflict spiral out of control this fast? Well, the source material points to a very specific and very modern military strategy that Iran is using. It's called horizontal escalation. And this right here, this is the key idea you need to grasp to understand what's happening. Forget everything you know about old-school wars fought on a single front. Horizontal escalation is all about creating chaos everywhere, all at once. It's basically weaponizing our interconnected modern world against itself. And you can see how this ripple effect plays out. It's a very deliberate 4-step plan. First, you attack a critical economic choke point, like an oil route. That disrupts the global economy, right? Oil prices go nuts. Step 3, that disruption creates massive political pressure inside other countries as people get angry. And finally, that pressure forces more and more nations to get involved, to pick a side. It's a domino effect, and it's all by design. So when you boil it all down, what you have is basically a global bomb. Iran's message is crystal clear. If I'm going down, you're all coming down with me. They're signaling that you can't just isolate them and attack them without bringing the entire global system crashing down. All right, so let's talk about the tech, because this is a whole new kind of war. If this thing does blow up into a full-scale world war, it's not going to look anything like World War II. This is not your grandfather's war. I mean, the whole idea of a battlefield has completely changed. Back then, it was tanks and battleships. Now, we're talking AI-powered drones, cyber warfare that can shut down a country's power grid, and massive information battles. Get this, for the first time ever, the Pentagon is actually using AI to help pick its targets. And this brings us to maybe the weirdest, most confusing part of this new kind of war. The battle for what's even real. I mean, look at this. Iran claims it killed the Israeli prime minister, and they push out fake AI images to prove it. So Israel releases a video of him in a coffee shop. But then, people start claiming that video is a deepfake too. When both sides are using AI like this, how can you know it's true? It's designed to just sow chaos and confusion, and honestly, it works. Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. This is all happening thousands of miles away. What does it have to do with me? Well, the truth is, the economic shockwaves from this conflict are already hitting home, especially for a country like India. Think about this for a second. 25%. Before all this started, a full quarter of the entire world's oil that travels by sea went through this one tiny little strait. It's like the jugular vein of the global economy. And now, it's a war zone. The flow of oil is being choked off, and the consequences, they're immediate. And we're not talking about some abstract economic theory here. This is real stuff affecting real people right now. The source material points out that the price of the plastic that shopkeepers use has almost doubled. Tile factories in Gujarat are actually shutting down because they can't get fuel. People's jobs are at risk. And yeah, the cost of your cooking gas cylinder, that's at risk too. This war is hitting your wallet today. And that brings up this really tough question. So far, India has tried to stay neutral. But what happens if one of the 22 Indian-flagged ships that are in that strait right now gets attacked? Can India really afford to stay on the sidelines then? An attack like that could force its hand, pulling the country right into the middle of this, whether it wants to be there or not. All right, let's look at the final piece of this puzzle, America's dilemma. Because right now, the US is trapped in a really difficult spot, and you could argue it's a trap they built for themselves. If you just look at this timeline, you can see how things got so bad. Back in 2015, there was a nuclear deal. It seemed to be working. But then in 2018, the US just tore it up. Trust completely shattered. So now, fast forward to today, after getting hit with new strikes, Iran is speeding up its nuclear program because, from their perspective, it's the only real guarantee they have for survival. And you have to remember, Iran is watching what's happening in the world. They saw what happened to Ukraine after it gave up its nuclear weapons back in the 90s. The lesson seems pretty brutal and pretty clear. Without the ultimate deterrent, there's just no guarantee anyone will respect your sovereignty. So here's where it leaves the US, stuck between two really, really unpleasant choices. Option 1, cut their losses. Admit the plan to topple Iran's leadership has failed and accept a huge strategic defeat. Or option 2, they can escalate. They can actually invade Iran to try and seize its nuclear material, which would risk a long, bloody, drawn-out war with absolutely no guarantee of success. Neither option is good. And that leaves us with this one final, pretty sobering thought. In a world where trust has been totally shattered, in an era of this new horizontal warfare and AI-powered propaganda, can a war like this ever truly be contained? The question isn't just, is this World War III? It's whether any major conflict can be stopped from becoming one.